Hello and welcome to another episode of 3D Garage, and in this video I'll be talking you through my Mark II Scirocco engine swap. This is my 1988 Volkswagen Scirocco Mark II. If you'd have watched our revival video, this is the vehicle from that video. I used it in the summer, went to a few shows, potted about in it, as you do like a summer classic car, and then put it in storage for the winter. But now it's time to look to getting it back on the road. The plan is to take the original 1.6 carbed engine out and replace it with something a little bit more interesting. I've never actually done an engine swap on a car before, so this is all quite new to me. A few things that I've done to try and make my life easier. I've taken the bonnet off, as you can see. That's just to give me loads more access and light as well. It just shines so much more light in the engine bay. And what I've done as well is I've started labelling some of the wiring loom. The engine that I'm putting in is going to be on bike carbs, because these 1.6 and some of the 1.8 engines in the Sciroccos and Mark I Golfs, the fuel pump is on the front of the engine just down there. They don't have fuel pumps in the tank, so that's something I have to overcome with a separate fuel pump. But also with the bike carbs, it means that there's not a lot of wiring to go with it. I should be able to use a lot of the original 1.6 loom, but I have got a separate loom if I need it. So this is the engine that's going in it. It's an ABF engine, which is from the Mark III Golf GTI. It's a 2-litre 16 valve. I'm using a Mark II 4+E gearbox, which gives me a taller fifth gear, so I should make cruising a bit better, and it also means that the original gearbox bracket will fit as well. So they did a Mark II Scirocco that had a 16 valve in it, but that was the 1.8 version, which is the KR engine code, I think. The ABF is slightly taller, which gives issues with the downpipe. So I've got this downpipe here. I'm not quite sure on the make. If I find out, I'll put it in the description. But it gives me adjustability here, so I can move these up and down. The actual flange that goes on it moves up and down to give me a bit of clearance. The issue is it hits the steering gaiter on these, so I'm potentially going to heat wrap this as well, just to try and protect anything in the engine bay from the heat. And these are the bike carbs that I'm using. They're Yamaha R1 Bike Carbs, quite a popular choice. They've already come on a pre-made manifold, which is handy. Yeah, that's my fuel going in, so I've just got to work out things like choke and throttle cable. Once I've kind of got it all plumbed in, I need to get them tuned as well. So hopefully I can find someone that will kind of dial them in for me, because they can be a bit fussy. Yeah, so some people question whether the bike carb is the right way to go. I like the sound of the bike carbs. I like the look as well. I kind of like the simplicity around them, so that's why I'm going with these. So as with any engine swap, I've got some bigger brakes to go on this. I've also got a bigger master cylinder as well, and servo. I'll do a separate video on all of that to describe and go through what I've used, and hopefully that will help you out if you do a similar conversion. Right, so I'm dying to get this old engine out. I'm trying to hold off from just ripping it out. I want to get the ABF built up as much as I can first before I drop it in. But I think I'm going to jack the front of the car up and get rid of all of the water, oil and brake fluid. Right, okay, so that's radiator out, speedo cable, throttle cable and clutches out as well. I've disconnected the fuel lines. I've taken the carb off as well just to give me a bit more room. Basically when lifting the engine out, it gives me a bit of space between here and the scuttle there. So I think I might have to kind of drop it down, bring it forward slightly and then back out, just to clear everything. I'm going to leave the downpipe connected, but I'm going to take the exhaust off and the drive shafts and the gear selectors off next. So it's day 2 of the engine swap. I got pretty much everything disconnected yesterday, drive shafts, everything like that. All the radiator and cooling stuff is out. So the engine's pretty much ready to come out. I didn't get round to doing that yesterday. I'd like to have got that pulled out, but it was just such a beautiful day and wanted to go spend the day with my family. So priorities, yeah. But so this morning, engine's coming out and let's get into it. Okay, the engine is out. I'm not sure if you saw on the video, but it was kind of catching on the brake reservoir and the brake lines. In hindsight, I probably should have taken that out because it's coming out anyway, but I managed to pull the front end of the engine up and it come out, so yeah. Right, on to the next steps. Okay, so it's day 3 of the Scirocco engine swap. Day 2 was going really well. Had the engine pulled, started taking the braking system apart, and then I was taken ill with food poisoning from potentially some dodgy chicken. So that slowed down. Yeah, I wasn't feeling my breast. Yeah, so that put a halt to that. So I'm about a day behind now, which happens with these projects, things get in the way. But today I'm going to finish off taking the rest of the bits that I won't need out. Quick progress update. I've removed the old master cylinder and servo. That was quite easy because on the Sciroccos and Mark 1 Golfs, they put this linkage across for right-hand drive vehicles. So all the bolts were behind there, nice and easy to get to, and there was just a pin at the back on the linkage that meant the servo could come out. I've also started to split the wiring, so a lot of the old carb stuff I won't need. There was things like a preheater and that I won't need that with the bike carbs. It really simplifies the wiring and it gives me a chance to tidy some of it up. There's some bits where there was an old alarm and that, so I'm just gonna tidy that up and rewrap the loom as well. I will give the engine bay a bit of a clean as well before the next engine goes in. 30 odd years of oil and grot and stuff, so now is a good chance to do that. Eventually I will tidy the whole lot of it up, So there's some crusty marks all around it. On the inside as well, there's just some bits where it's starting to rust. I want to get it all running and all working with all the bits I need first, and then I'll make it look pretty again. But yeah, getting there. I think that's going to be pretty much it for this episode. I've got a load of parts to buy, so I'm going to give it a week or so now before moving back onto this. I've got to get things like radiator, I've got to get a fuel pump. So what I'll do is, once I've got all of those bits together, I'll put them on the floor and basically show you what I've got. So if you are doing a similar conversion to this to your Mark 1, Mark 2 Scirocco or Mark 1 Golf, then at least you have an idea of what bits to get. I've got a few bits to tidy up on the ABF as well. I've got a few sensors and stuff to put in, and I've got things like brakes and that to clean up. So I'll crack on with that, and then once it's all clean and ready to go, we'll get on to the next video. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Thanks.